Welcome to our channel. On this episode, we focused on the digital asset known as XRP. We gather videos and information from the web, and if you stick around, we are going to share it with you. So stay tuned for news and updates.
And to U.S. sanctions, because if the U.S. is sanctioning you, you can't move money using that SWIFT system. So what's really interesting is, number one, they're creating a payment system that would go around SWIFT. But how do you do that when you have 5 major countries that all have their own currencies? And one of the ways they're doing that is by using possibly cryptocurrency to do that. That would translate their currencies into a single cryptocurrency that is then used through the system and then formulated, I guess, when it gets into their country, back into their own personal currency. So essentially, you're taking currency from one, sending it through as a cryptocurrency, and then back on the other end into transforming it into another currency. And that allows them, again, to get around this SWIFT system in a way that no one had really thought about in the past, because crypto already has all of those things in place.
Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do.
SDC itself we've seen over $3.5 trillion of transactions directly on the internet between counterparties. And so if we can, improve it with more scalable blockchain technologies like, Brad's company provides, and we can make this extremely low cost to move, and then enable individuals with digital wallets that can interact, and you can scale into the risk.
Start with what happens, right, if you do not get a ruling in your favor. XRP is called a security.
In the United States.
You would be out of the United States.
No. I was clarifying your question. The SEC only has jurisdiction in the United States. And in some ways, if you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. Other than on Uphold and maybe a few other exceptions, you can't trade XRP in the United States. Coinbase halted trading. Others delisted it. So if Ripple loses the case, does anything change? Like, in some ways, if you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. If you think about how the world is operating right now, it's as if the case has been lost. Other than on Uphold and maybe a few other exceptions, you can't trade XRP in the United States. Coinbase halted trading. Others delisted it. So if Ripple loses the case, does anything change? Like, it's basically it's status quo. Ripple is still growing very, very quickly.
Well, there are still people betting that you could win this case.
Well, I think that's the case. I'm betting that, just to be clear. And look, I'm betting that not just because of the tone of the questions from the judge and these kind of things. I'm betting that because I think the facts are on our side. I'm betting that because the law is on our side. And I think the SEC has massively overstepped into try to take kind of jurisdictional ownership over something that is, I think they saw this gray area. They're like, hey, we're going to go in. It's like any company. If the country you're based in is making it hard for you to be successful, you go other places. I mean, on a percentage basis, our growth is much more outside the United States than in the United States. 95% of our customers are non-U.S. companies. So, look, we're going to continue to invest where we know what the rules are. Even though there are a lot of libertarian roots around crypto, my experience is most actors in crypto want to play by the rules. But we have to know what the rules are. And, at the SEC, going back to one of the things you asked earlier, they have been fighting us on the disclosure of certain documents. So this is an entity, by the way, which, keep in mind what the SEC does. They demand disclosure from the companies they regulate. And they won't disclose anything.
So I have to ask you, what do you like about the XRP ledger?
Well, I think when I first started looking into it, I was quite surprised because there's quite a bit of rhetoric out there. And if you only investigate things at that level, you might be misled in terms of what's actually being built. I think it was a very clever solution to solving the energy problem and performance problem of proof of work before proof of stake really became a thing. And the architecture of it in some ways is, if you implement it as the protocol was designed, is possibly more decentralized than proof of stake, because users get to choose the validators that they want to listen to in a way that isn't, forecast in the minds of proof of stake networks. And so you can have this kind of layers of decentralization within the network that aren't available in other architectures, which I thought was really interesting.
This is not financial advice, and by any means you should not take any advice from us. We have no financial background. This channel is strictly fun-based. So stay along for the ride, and if you like what you see, be free to like and subscribe.